What's going on, guys? It's your boy Nico from Nico's Aquatics, the new YouTube channel, and Nico'sAquatics.com, formerly known as DJ Bootleg on the other channels. And today we're going to be talking about Species Saturday. I'm going to be talking about a plant I'm super excited to talk about because this is definitely in my top 5, probably, top 10 more comfortably to say top 10, but it is definitely up there, and it's a fantastic plant. Today, the plant we're talking about is Egeria Densa, aka Brazilian Waterweed. So let's get into it. All right, so before we get into some of the facts and everything, I'm also just want to mention I'm going to make this a shorter video. I'm shooting for under 5 to 6 minutes. Anywhere from 6 to 5 minutes, I guess is a better way to say it. Just want to make things a bit shorter, because maybe you guys would like that. Drop a comment if you do. If you want to go back to the other way, it's a little longer. Totally up to you guys. So just to get started here, I just want to show you guys the plant. This is it here. No, it looks just like an Aquarius. That's because it's actually in the family of an Aquarius. I mean, look how freaking gorgeous this stuff is, man. See if I can get it to autofocus. There we go. I mean, look at this. This stuff is just absolutely gorgeous. One thing I noticed about this rather than an Aquarius is that there's little... Probably won't be able to get it on there. Oh, maybe you can. Let me see. There we go. See those little tiny teeth on there? And you can feel them. That's a little bit different. I mean, as you can see, this stuff, man, is extremely healthy in the tank. And you can tell that when you look at these to see if they are indeed healthy. Look at that, gorgeous. Is if you look at the stems, sometimes you'll see darker stems or brown stems. That means that they are not thriving. Most likely they are missing some sort of nutrient. And I dosed this tank with all sorts of nutrients. I'll put those in the description. But it just feels so, like, weird to me. Because it's got those little teeth. Like, they're not spiky or anything. But, yeah, I mean, you can even hear it. I don't know, maybe you can't hear it. Maybe I'm just tripping. But, I mean, these are gorgeous. Very, very hardy plants. I mean, I got these probably a month ago. And they were probably 6 inches. I got 3 stems, I believe, for 6 inches for a couple bucks. And, I mean, these are just all runners. I mean, look at this. Look at those runners. Look at that. I mean, that's insane. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 runners just on that one part. And it's insane. So I would highly recommend this, not only for any tank, but especially for any sort of... Let me get this back on the stand here. Sorry, guys. I would definitely recommend getting this for any tank that has fry in it, or even shrimp. I have a lot of shrimp in this tank, and I always have shrimp walking around, chilling in there. And because it's a nice kind of place that they can not be bothered, you know, so it kind of forms a barrier around them. Same thing with fry as well. So that I highly recommend it for especially those 2 things. But in any tank, yeah, I definitely recommend it. In the bigger tanks, definitely, because it is, for me, a floating plant. It does root. That's obviously how it's grown, and it does come with roots sometimes if it's a bunch plant, sometimes not. But for me, I just throw it in the tank, man. I just throw it right on in there, and I am good to go. And within a couple weeks, you'll start seeing growth like this. Like I said, this is about a month and a half worth of growth. And if I were to pull this out and just lay it on a table, it would look insane. It just doesn't look, well, I guess it does, but because everything's kind of intertwined and everything, doesn't look as long as it is, but it is absolutely long. I am a fan of an Aquarius. That's what originally I thought this was, to be honest. But it is fantastic. And another good thing about this plant, honestly, if you just take a clipping, like maybe this big, and you put it in another tank, if it's a low-tech tank, I absolutely guarantee you that thing will take off within a matter of weeks. You'll start to have runners, all sorts of great stuff. So let's talk about a couple of the other interesting facts. So this is actually a Brazilian plant, so that's why it's so hardy. It also grows in a lot of lakes and creeks and ditches. That's why it's actually what they call an invasive or noxious plant. It is actually on the Fish and Wildlife website. There's a full PDF on it. I'll put that link right down in the description. In fact, it's banned in some states to sell or anything because it's so invasive, which basically means if it gets into a creek or a water source, it'll take it over, and it causes problems for fishers, gets caught up in their line, gets actually caught up in their motors, and it's a huge hassle. There's a lot of other, like hornwort is one of those as well that's on there, certain states, because it gets in the water, in the wild water. Stupid people just throw it in just as, I don't know exactly why. They're breaking down tanks, but it ruins it for the rest of the people there. So basically, it does grow in a lot of different temperatures. It can go all the way up to 80 Fahrenheit degrees, rather. It's interesting because you can actually keep this with African cichlids, because cichlids, and I'm going to have a video coming soon for the best plants to keep with African cichlids, and this is one of them because it is a floating plant. If you listen to my other African cichlid video, you always have to create natural barriers, and floating plants are perfect for that. You know, hornwort, this is one of them. So I would highly recommend this for African cichlid tanks. Oh, the only downfall is if you keep it in a tank, you do have to constantly trim it back, give away the trimmings, clippings. I would never recommend throwing any healthy plant away, even if they are clippings, because, you know, what if this, I have it kind of all here attached to the driftwood, so it doesn't really float all over the place, and there's no plants under here except for some Java moss, which doesn't need much light anyway. But if you have this all the way up on the top here, all those plants down there are not going to get enough light, and they will die. So if you do have them floating, you know, a lot in your tank, you're going to have to really keep it trimmed up, because the plants underneath them will not get enough light, and they will die. So that's about it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this Beachy Saturday. A bit of a different style. I used the stand today, and just a bit different. The quality should be better as well. Should be full 1080p. Anyway, guys, I appreciate it. God bless. More to come. Stay safe. Stay wet. Just